The time I burned my guitar, it was like a sacrifice. You sacrifice the things you love. I love my guitar. I wish they'd had electric guitars in cotton fields back in the good old days. A whole lot of things would have been straightened out. I've been imitated so well, I've heard people copy my mistakes. The story of life is quicker than the blink of an eye. The story of love is hello, goodbye. When the power of love overcomes the love of power, the world will know peace. I'm the one that has to die when it's time for me to die, so let me live my life the way I want to. Even castles made of sand fall into the sea eventually. You have to go on and be crazy. Craziness is like heaven. I don't have nothing to regret at all in the past, except that I might have unintentionally hurt somebody else or something. If it was up to me, there wouldn't be no such thing as the establishment. I just hate to be in one corner. I hate to be put as only a guitar player, or either only as a songwriter, or only as a tap dancer. I like to move around. I have this one little saying, when things get too heavy just call me helium, the lightest known gas to man. You have to give people something to dream on. I'm gonna put a curse on you and all your kids will be born completely naked. In order to change the world, you have to get your head together first. I try to use my music to move these people to act. When I die, I want people to play my music, go wild and freak out and do anything they want to do. Blues is easy to play, but hard to feel. My goal is to be one with the music. I just dedicate my whole life to this art. You have to forget about what other people say, when you're supposed to die, or when you're supposed to be loving. You have to forget about all these things. I used to live in a room full of mirrors, all I could see was me. I take my spirit and I crash my mirrors, now the whole world is here for me to see. It's funny how most people love the dead. Once you're dead, you're made for life. Music doesn't lie. If there is something to be changed in this world, then it can only happen through music. When things get too heavy, just call me helium, the lightest known gas to man. Music makes me high on stage, and that's the truth. It's like being almost addicted to music. I was trying to do too many things at the same time, which is my nature. But I was enjoying it, and I still do enjoy it. See, that's nothing but blues, that's all I'm singing about. It's today's blues. All I'm writing is just what I feel, that's all. I just keep it almost naked. And probably the words are so bland. If I'm free, it's because I'm always running. Every city in the world always has a gang, a street gang, or the so-called outcasts. All I'm gonna do is just go on and do what I feel. Rock is so much fun. That's what it's all about, filling up the chest cavities and empty kneecaps and elbows. White-collar conservative flashing down the street, pointing that plastic finger at me, they all assume my kind will drop and die, but I'm gonna wave my freak flag high. Imagination is the key to my lyrics. The rest is painted with a little science fiction. All I'm writing is just what I feel, that's all. I just keep it almost naked. And probably the words are so bland, I just hate to be in one corner. I hate to be put as only a guitar player, or either only as a songwriter, or only as a tap dancer. I like to move around, music doesn't lie. If there is something to be changed in this world, then it can only happen through music. Sometimes you want to give up the guitar, you'll hate the guitar. But if you stick with it, you're gonna be rewarded. To be with the others, you have to have your hair short and wear ties. So we're trying to make a third world happen, you know what I mean? When we go to play, you flip around and flash around and everything, and then they're not gonna see nothing but what their eyes see. Forget about their ears. It all has to come from inside, though, I guess. The reflection of the world is blues, that's where that part of the music is at. Then you got this other kind of music that's trying to come around. When I die, just keep playing the records. You don't have to be singing about love all the time in order to give love to the people. You don't have to keep flashing those words all the time. It's funny the way most people love the dead. Once you are dead, you are made for life. I got a pet monkey called Charlie Chan. When I played God Bless the Queen, I was wondering if they was gonna dig us, then quite naturally I'd go on and try to get it together. We started doing some stuff, just hooking up doing gigs. He got a little bit too far out from me. Stuff he was doing, I didn't want to do. Yes, it was raggedy. Yes, it had its problems. Yes, he did some things that he probably felt afterwards it wasn't a great idea to experiment on stage in front of 500,000 people. Looks like my baby don't live here no more, that's alright, Eve still got my guitar, more lyrics, I might as well go back over yonder, way back across the hills, if my baby don't love me no more, I know her, sister will. He'd been listening to black music all his life. A broom is drearily sweeping up the broken paces of yesterday's life. Somewhere a queen is weeping, somewhere a king has no wife, and the wind cries merry. But I always told him, when you start playing music you do something original. He sure did, and I was really proud of him for doing that. And so castles made of sand fall in the sea, eventually. There are too many heavy songs out nowadays. Music has been getting too heavy, almost to the state of unbearable. If there's a new idea, a new invention, or a new gas, or a new whatever you know, it should be brought at least into the open instead of carrying these same old burdens around with you. I didn't know it was anger until they told me that it was, like with destruction and all that. But I believe everybody should have like a room where they can get rid of all their releases, where they can do their releases at. So my room is a stage. A lot of PPL are making more money than they ever had nowadays, so when they get their flat they always find themselves with an extra room. Freaks, they are very prejudiced. You have to have your hair long and talk in a certain way in order to be with them. In order to be the other way you have to have your hair short and wear ties. Before you start pointing fingers, make sure your hands are clean. I love Dylan. I only met him once, about 3 years ago, back at the Kettle of Fish on McDougal Street. That was before I went to England. I think both of us were pretty drunk at the time, so he probably doesn't remember it. Music is going to break the way because music is in a spiritual thing of its own. It's like the waves of the ocean. You can't just cut out the perfect wave and take it home with you. I think that we honor ourselves by honoring our past. Your people I do not understand, so to you I shall put an end, and you'll never hear surf music again. Hey motorcycle mama, you gonna marry me? Have you ever been experienced? Not necessarily stoned, but beautiful. We gotta stop smoking, stop. I mean cigarette smoking. I used to live in a room full of mirrors, all I could see was me. So you want to be married, oh baby, trying to put me on a chain, ain't that some shame? You must be losing your weak little mind. May the dreams of your past be the reality of your future. If I live by illusions, you live by excuses. You got your God and so do I. Manic depression is a frustrating mess. There'll be no smoking in the gas chamber. I try to get up every day. You know I'll kiss you for my supper. Yeah, you know I'll kiss you for my dinner, baby. Move over Rover, and let Jimmy take over. I'm a million miles away, and at the same time I'm right here in your picture frame. You're not the only one accused of hit and run. Tire tracks all across my back, well I can see you've had your fun. You got me sitting on the shelf, while you're out bewitching someone else. She's a devil in disguise, I can tell by looking in her eyes, little Miss Strange. Been riding broomsticks since she was 15. Never write a letter while you are angry. Your mysterious mountains I wish to see closer. May I land my kinky machine? And it's no war games, because they all keep the same place. But like the solar system is going through a change soon and it's going to affect the Earth in about 30 years. Anyway, you know good and well it would be beyond the will of God, and the grace of the King. Definitely, and it's getting more spiritual. Pretty soon I believe people will have to rely on music to get some kind of peace of mind, or satisfaction, or direction, actually. More so than politics, the big ego scene. You know it's an art of words, meaning nothing. Therefore you will have to get an earthier substance, like music or the arts. Businessmen they drink my wine, come and taste my herb. Purple haze all in my brain, lately things don't seem the same. Actin' funny but I don't know why. 'Scuse me while I kiss the sky. Sometimes I do a Dylan song and it seems to fit me so right that I figure maybe I wrote it. Dylan didn't always do it for me as a singer, not in the early days, but then I started listening to the lyrics. That sold me. Once you're dead, you're made for life. Music is the most important thing. I'm thinking of my future. There has to be something new, and I want to be part of it. I want to lead an orchestra with excellent musicians. I want to play music which draws pictures of the world and its space. Telephone message on his manager's answering machine shortly before dying of heroin overdose. I need help bad, man. It's very far away, it takes about a half and a day to get there, if we travel by my dragonfly. No, it's not in Spain, but all the same you know, it's a groovy name. And the wind's just right. Hang on, my darling, hang on if you wanna go. Here it's a really groovy place. It's, just a little bit of, Spanish castle magic. Don't use your brain to play it, let your feelings guide your fingers. It's very far away, it takes about a half a day to get there if we travel by dragonfly. A broom is drearily sweeping up the broken pieces of yesterday's life. The sweet love between the moon and the deep blue sea. Manic depressions touching my soul. I know what I want, but I just don't know how to go about getting it. Happiness is within you, so unlock the chains from your heart and let yourself grow, like the sweet flower you are. I know the answer, just spread your wings and set yourself free. I found myself in too much of a box situation. Sometimes music comes across to me just when I am sitting around doing nothing, and then the music makes me think of a few words I might have written. Sometimes the music people put you into these big, rush things. Some people should just start ideas and other ones should carry them out. Room full of mirrors, that's more of a mental disarrangement. This says something about broken glass used to be all in my brain. Promotion with my name only, that's all I have to do with it. This is your life, you must die by yourself, so for heaven's sake, live for yourself and no one else. I was thinking too fast. It seems like a person has the tendency to get bored, because he always wants to try to do all these accomplishments. I'm trying to get more into other things, where reality is nothing but each individual's way of thinking. Don't let your imagination take you by surprise. It's up to the people. If they really want to keep it going, they'll keep it going, they'll appreciate the music. As you well know, you just can't believe everything you see and hear, can you? It's really hard to know what people want around here sometimes. It's not really into the big mass movement in music that I want to do, you know. In World War II all these countries were completely against each other, complete opposite. Now we're getting them all together, through the idea of music. In order to change the world, I guess a person would have to really get his head together first before he can say anything to the world, to change it. Well, obviously religion must come from inside. If 6 turned out to be 9, I don't mind. I wanted to be listened to. I don't know if they were or not, though. Of course war is horrible, but at present it's still the only guarantee of peace. With any new civilization, they have to have their own officers and police and governments and all that. A person would have to change himself in order to be a living example of what he's singing about. I believe everybody should have a room where they get rid of all their releases. So my room was a stage. There was a period when I stopped talking so much, because I was just going through certain things. I just did the gigs and just stayed in, tried to stay away. I guess it would be if I wanted to, just lay back and predominantly write songs when I can't go on a stage anymore. The dollar bill is God in the States. All those pelican people just believe in money and nothing else. I think it would count more, if we did less personal appearances. Oh say, can you see, it's really such a mess. Every inch of earth is a fighting nest. Giant pencil and lipstick tube-shaped things continue to rain and cause scream and pain, and the Arctic stains from silver blue to bloody red. They've imitated me so good that sometimes I hear people copying my mistakes. You have to use fantasy to show different sides to reality. That's how it can bend. My nature just changes. Life is quicker than a blink of an eye. We have time, there's no big rush. The artist draws the people. The whole idea is for people to dig themselves, just mingle around meeting different other people. That's cool. Are you experienced? Have you ever been experienced? Genealogists live in the past lane. If I had anything to say, I'd have a say to everybody. If the mountains fell in the sea, let it be, it ain't me. Got my own world to live through and I ain't gonna copy you. Now, if 6 turned up to be 9, I don't mind, I don't mind. If all the hippies cut off their hair, I don't care, I don't care. Did, 'cause I got my own world to live through and I ain't gonna copy you. Spiritually, it's always there. It gets better and better all the time. One of these days I'll just finally release all that out. Music is my religion. I want to play music that draws a picture of the world and its space. Now if 6 turned up to be 9, I don't mind, I don't mind. Will the wind ever remember the names it has blown in the past? And with its crutch, its old age, and its wisdom, it whispers, no, this will be the last. Is this love, baby, or is this just confusion? Good and evil lay side by side. This morning came on to me, silver wings silhouetted against the child sunrise. The night I was born, Lord, I swear the moon turned a fire red. The one that rambles for 1,000,000 miles, yes, I walk down this road searching for your love. Click bang, what a hang, your daddy just shot poor me. If my baby don't love me no more, I know her sister will. I'm up here in this womb, I'm looking all around. I'm looking out my belly button window and I see a whole lot of frowns. We take our last look at the killing noise. You may almost forget the smell of your family. The truth is straight ahead, so don't burn yourself instead. Butterflies and zebras and moonbeams and fairy tales, that's all she ever thinks about riding with the wind. A girl asked me if she could comb my hair. Nobody can comb my hair, I can't even comb my hair. Don't waste your time thinking about bad things. With Voodoo Child, somebody was filming when we started doing that. We did that about 3 times because they wanted to film us in the studio. To make us, imitates a pompous voice, make it look like you're recording boys. One of them scenes, you know, so okay, let's play this, and then we went into Voodoo Child. Be respected as being new, and probably a decent change or a help for the human race or whatever, instead of keep carrying the same old burdens around with you. The Grand Ole Opry used to come on, and I used to watch that. They used to have some pretty heavy cats, heavy guitar players. The Telecaster has 2 sounds, a good one and a bad one. I dig Strauss and Wagner. Those cats are good. Knowledge is speaking, wisdom is listening. Music is a safe type of high. It's more the way it was supposed to be. That's where highness came, I guess, from anyway. It's nothing but rhythm and motion. I get more of a dreamy thing from the audience. It's more of a thing that you go up into. You get into such a pitch sometimes that you go up into another thing. You don't forget about the audience, but you forget about all the paranoia, that thing where you're saying, oh gosh, I'm on stage, what am I going to do now? Then you go into this other thing, and it turns out to be almost like a play in certain ways. We want our sound to go into the soul of the audience, and see if it can awaken some little thing in their minds. 'Cause there are so many sleeping people. It's time for a new national anthem. America is divided into 2 definite divisions. The easy thing to cop out with is saying black and white. You can see a black person. But now to get down to the nitty-gritty, it's getting to be old and young, not the age, but the way of thinking. Old and new, actually, because there's so many even older people that took half their lives to reach a certain point that little kids understand now. I'd like to get something together, like a Handel, Bach, Muddy Waters, flamenco type of thing. If I could get that sound, I'd be happy. With the power of soul, anything is possible. Music is religion for me. There'll be music in the hereafter, too. There's a lot of political things happening out there that I'd really have to get away from. Anger, he smiles, towering in shiny metallic purple armor. Queen Jealousy, envy waits behind him, her fiery green gown sneers at the grassy ground. After a while, your cheap talk don't even cause me pain, so let your bullets fly like rain. I wouldn't say that I'm the greatest guitarist ever. I'd say probably that I'm the greatest guitarist sitting in this chair. The world is nothing but a big gimmick. I'll always touch you. Fall mountains, just don't fall on me. Kenny Burrell, that's the sound I'm looking for. May I love you away from the evils of today to the dreams of tomorrow, you know heaven has no sorrow. The way I write things, I just write them with a clash between reality and fantasy mostly. You have to use fantasy to show different sides of reality, it's how it can bend. I try all night to play a pretty note. I feel guilty when people say I'm the greatest on the scene. What's good or bad doesn't matter to me, what does matter is feeling and not feeling. If only people would take more of a true view and think in terms of feelings. Your name doesn't mean a damn, it's your talents and feelings that matter. You've got to know much more than just the technicalities of notes. You've got to know what goes between the notes. Really, I'm just an actor. The only difference between me and those cats in Hollywood is that I write my own script. I have to get involved in my own kind of way, 'cause I always want to respect my own judgments. I have to respect my own time. Evil man, make me kill you. You're just like cross-town traffic, so hard to get through to you. Lots of the things we do are dangerous, but life itself is dangerous. Nothing is really worth bothering with that isn't full of danger. One time I said, maybe I should burn a guitar tonight. You know, smash a guitar or something like that. And they said, yeah. I said, you really think I should? They said, yeah, that'd be cool. I said, well, okay. Music is magic. Magic is life. Purple haze all in my eyes, don't know if it's day or night. You got me blowin' my mind. Is it tomorrow or just the end of time? Sorry for the tune-up between time, but what the hell, cowboys are the only ones who stay in tune, anyway. The smiling portrait of you is still hanging on my frowning wall. Hey Joe, where you going with that gun in your hand? I'm going out to find my woman, caught her messing around with another man. Little Wing is like one of these beautiful girls that come around sometimes. You play your gig, it's the same thing as the olden days, and these beautiful girls come around. You do actually fall in love with them because that's the only love you can have. It's not always the physical thing of oh, there's one over there, it's not one of those scenes. They actually tell you something. They release different things inside themselves. Little Wing was a very sweet girl that came around that gave me her whole life and more if I wanted it. I get stoned, I can't get home, I'm calling long distance on a public saxophone. My head is atchin', my back is breakin', feel I got run over by Captain Coconut and his dog named Rover. Jesus shouldn't have died so early, and then he could have got twice as much across. They killed him and then twisted so many of the best things he said. Human hands started messing it all up, and now so much of religion is hogwash. You know you are a sweet little heartbreaker, foxy lady. Well, I stand up next to a mountain, and I chop it down with the edge of my hand. I want to get up in the morning and just roll over in my bed into an indoor swimming pool. And then swim to the breakfast table. You've got to know what goes between the notes. It's funny how most people love the dead. Once you're dead, you're made for life. Drifting, on a sea of forgotten teardrops, on a lifeboat, sailing for your love. Now if I don't meet you no more in this world, then I'll meet you in the next one, and don't be late, 'cause I'm a voodoo chili. You're a woman, at least you taste like you are. Looks like my baby don't live here no more, that's alright, Eve's still got my guitar, I might as well go back over yonder, way back across the hills. If my baby don't love me no more, I know her sister will. My sons and their wives landed on Mars to start another race. Knowledge speaks, but wisdom listens. I didn't mean to take up all your sweet time. I'll give it right back to you, one of these days. Please pass me the peace weed, and take some heed. Throw away all that mixed up speed. When I'm sad, she comes to me with 1,000 smiles. I want to thank you, my sweet darling, for digging in the mud and picking me up. You have to be a freak in order to be different. Anybody can do anything, it's up to themselves. All it takes is the right intentions. Music is a safe kind of high. Excuse me while I kiss the sky. The story of love is hello and goodbye, until we meet again. Let me live my life the way I want to. My own thing is in my head. I hear sounds, and if I don't get them together, nobody else will. The story of life is quicker than the blink of an eye. The story of love is hello, goodbye. Technically, I'm not a guitar player, all I play is truth and emotion. Knowledge talks, wisdom listens.